Yo, so today I'm going to be breaking down a happy hyperpop loop that I made, and it has a switch up in it, so that's kind of cool. So this is going to be a happier loop, so I made it in the key of D major, and I came up with this super simple pattern, and I put it on a house piano, so it's super ambient, and it fills up a lot of space. So here's what this sounds like. So this really is like, it's a really simple pattern. This top line pretty much just repeats throughout the entire melody, except for this last note gets put down to an F instead of a C sharp. So it's a really simple melody. And then on that, I put a EQ to cut the lows, a EQ to cut the highs. I put the default chorus preset on it, and then I put an imager and I just boosted it all the way so it takes up the whole stereo spectrum. So after I added that piano, I felt that it really wouldn't sound that great if I had a mallet or something on top of it. So in the final loop, you'll hear that like the piano comes in and then this arp will come in and they switch in and out depending on what part of the melody it's in. So I grabbed this arp from Omnisphere and just copied the same pattern over. So yeah, it's the same pattern, I just put it on an ARP. So as you can see right here in the arrangement, the piano only comes in for parts of the beat that I wanted to feel heavier or a little bit more emotional, and then the ARP comes in for all the times that the mallet and the lead is in. So the next thing I layered over the ARP was this pluck, and it just copies the same chord pattern, and then I just have it repeat the chords. So those are all the same chord, it's just repeating to give it rhythm. And then I just filled it in with some random notes that sounded good when I was like clicking them in. So that's a really simple melody to go along with that ARP, because I knew I wanted to add like a more full sound, I guess, like a sound with more effects on it. So I grabbed that same mallet that I used in the last video, the lullaby mallet, and I copied that pattern over. But I did these fast little rolls here, so it goes up really quick and it just like fills in more space, I guess. Same pattern, but just with those extra faster notes. So I'll go ahead and play the arps and the mallets together. So that'll be like this section right here. So they really all combined into something that sounds really cool, like really happy. So after that, I felt that this part of the melody was pretty complete, and I wanted to fill in the sections where the piano come in, because that's a super like low mid to mid range sound. So I needed something in the high range to really fill out the melody. So I added this bell. It's the glass picking from Omnisphere. And what I did is got the preset, and then I clicked this glide right here, and then I dragged it up to 0.05 seconds. So there's going to be just like a glide in between the notes, and it ends up sounding like really cool, and it gives it more of a virtual sound. And that just repeats over another 4 bars. And I pretty much only have that playing with the house piano. The last sound I added was this lead from Serum, It's just a basic lead. I don't really remember what it's called, but it just copies vaguely the same notes as the mallet pattern and then does a bunch of like stutters and stuff. So I'll play that really quick. The only like different thing I did with this is I clicked in this C sharp here because it sounded good going from here to here, but then it didn't sound good going all the way back up to A. So instead of doing that, I just brought the uh, lead back down instead of it going all the way up, so it makes it a smoother transition. And then on this one, I did it to B because that B to A sounded good for some reason. And then the final sound I added was this sub bass from Serum. It's the Musk sub bass. It's pretty much my favorite one to use because it has a cool filter on it or something, and it just copies the bass notes. So that just fills up the low end of the melody in the intro and in this little section I put here for an 808 break. So I'll go through the mixing real quick, try to keep it real concise because I don't know, mixing's always kind of boring to me. But I already showed what I did on that piano. And then on the ARP, I cut the lows, faded out the highs, and then put a reverb on it, an imager, and then the shy pancake. So it's not as harsh from ear to ear. It just kind of gently glides from ear to ear. I didn't put anything on the mallets because they were already kind of high tones anyways. So they didn't really need to get the lows cut out of them or anything. So I just left them the way they were and panned them to opposite sides just because they were in the same frequency range and I wanted to create some kind of like difference between them. So that was like the easiest way to do it and it worked pretty well. On the glass pick bell, I just added a ping pong delay and I turned it down a lot. And then I added a reverb and I messed with the pre-delay and turned up the decay a little bit. Then on the lead, since I had it playing so high, I just dipped out of here because there was two frequencies in there that were super harsh. Let's see, I'll play the lead real quick so you can see. Yeah, so you can see here how there's two spikes. So I just kind of dipped those out a little bit to make it a little more pleasing to the ears, I guess, because those are kind of high, harsh tones. And then on the sub bass, I just cut out everything except the lows, because it's a sub bass. It would kind of be really stupid if you cut the lows and just left the highs. Make no sense. All right, so now I'm going to get into the arrangement. This did take me a while to do because I wanted to find like the best places to transition it from the house piano to like the mallets and the ARP. So I did it once in the intro and then I left it the same here. And then I kind of switched between them for the last, what is that, like 24 bars or something. But this really isn't as like harsh of a switch because the one of the mallets stays in it throughout. So it gives it a smoother transition. But I wanted the intro to be really harsh, if that makes sense. I don't really know how to explain it. And then I used these, this was an Impact originally from the Post 20 drum kit. That's a really good drum kit. You should go grab it. But I just reversed it to make these transitions a little smoother, and I kind of like the way it sounds. I'm not really sure if putting transition effects in your loops is like not the right thing to do, but I think if you do them like subtly enough, it can add something to the loop and not affect like how it sounds in the end. And then the last thing I did for the arrangement, which is something I've been doing a lot lately and liking the results from, is I went over here and I clicked on the piano and I clicked quick render to audio clip. So I got an audio clip of it in the playlist. And then what I did is I reversed it and then I chopped it into these little sections and then I flipped it around. So once I reversed it, I moved this one all the way over here. So it stays in the same chord progression, but it's still reversed. That's probably not the best way to explain it, but I'll have to like do a whole tutorial on like this kind of stuff because I made a cool melody with it earlier. But then I went in and I clicked on the audio clip, went to here and I clicked on generic and then the bleeding one. So this allows it to kind of, I think it's called crossfade into the other clips. So it was originally like this, and I just dragged it out. So it kind of has like a pulsing feel almost. So I'll play this part alone. I also pitched it up an octave, and I just think this was like a cool thing to add when the lead isn't in or those bells weren't in. And then the final thing I did is cut the lows and make it an automation clip so the sub bass doesn't get cut, just to like finish off the loop. And I ended up pitching it down one in the end. So in the end of this, it was a C sharp major. So that's pretty much it for the video. I hope this was like quick but still informative. And thank you guys for 300 subs. That's pretty cool. I should probably like put out a free loop kit or something. I guess I'll start working on that if that's something you guys are interested in. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a splendid rest of your evening. And I'll play the final loop right now.